Gressa Beauty Heroes review take 2. I tried filming this earlier and the footage was just a disaster. Maybe now this one will run a little bit smoother as I've already filmed like a half-hour video on this box. Welcome to my review of the third Beauty Heroes elective makeup box featuring Gressa. Beauty Heroes has done 2 others of these sorts of boxes. They did one with Vapor Beauty. That was the first one that they did last fall, I believe. And then they did one featuring Au Naturel this past May or June. It was around then. In case you missed the info on these from the previous ones, or you're new to Beauty Heroes in general, Beauty Heroes is a subscription-based service where you order 3 months of boxes up front and you become a Beauty Heroes member that way. Those boxes themselves don't have makeup items in them, but it's almost a quarterly basis. Beauty Heroes will curate a makeup-specific box. Beauty Heroes members can purchase for a discount, so it's in addition to the Beauty Heroes subscription, or non-Beauty Heroes members can purchase these boxes as well. So in this box, you are getting 2 of Gressa's eye tints in the shades Oreo, and Obscure, this synthetic flat eyeshadow brush, and a new launch of a shade of their kind of like multi-purpose product that they call Lumiere. This is a launch within this Beauty Heroes box in the shade Eva or Ava. I'm not sure how they're pronouncing it. They currently have 2 other shades of this available on Gressa's website, but this shade is going to be exclusive to this box for the month of October before it launches site-wide on Gressa's website. I just want to say up front, the value of this box is $114. You get it for $45 if you're not a Beauty Heroes member, and if you are a Beauty Heroes member, you get 15% off, which makes it $38 and some change, I believe. I have always wanted to try these eye tints, and the reason that I didn't is because they are expensive. They retail for $32 or $34, I believe, a piece. So that alone, I feel like makes the box really worth it. I mean, I was like really smitten when I opened it up. And I think that Gressa really has, it's kind of up there like with K or Weiss, you know, like it has a very sort of refined, elegant, chic image. If before we've even gotten to the end of the video, you're curious about picking up this box, I do have a link below in the description bar where you can go pick up this box. You don't have to be a Beauty Heroes member. You don't have to subscribe. It's just kind of like a one-off thing. I did do a demo, and I am wearing some of the products on my face right now. I'm wearing all the products on my face right now, actually. But if you want to see the eye makeup and like the face makeup, I did do demo footage, which I think is going to be a separate video. I'll be uploading a separate demo video sort of simultaneously. Okay, where should we start? There's not really like a lot of background to tell you about this box because it's pretty straightforward. So I'll just give like a couple of brief points on Gressa, tell you about my experience with the products, like my review, and then I'm going to also share my thoughts on Gressa's other products, the lip boosts and the foundation, which I have tried and have quite a bit of experience with. So I wanted to provide kind of like some quick reviews of those things. Then let me grab my phone, answer the questions that you asked on the Instagram post. There it is. So there's not too many questions on here. It was mostly just comments. I'll answer anything outstanding. And I had wanted to, you know, time this video closer to when the box actually was released, and I just haven't had the time. So I hope that it's still useful even this, you know, week after the box is launched. I don't know how many people like order right out of the gate or really are waiting around for reviews, you know? Gressa is a brand that has kind of what they call a minimalist luxury approach to skincare and makeup. Something I guess that is unique about them is that they pride themselves on having very high mineral pigment contents to their products. So for example, they describe the eye tints as being a velvet to cream formulation with 50 to 60% mineral tints. They're silicone free and 100% vegan. These come in a total of 6 shades, I believe. The Lumiere tint is described as a pigmented serum for cheeks, eyes, and lips, which blends in like an emollient treatment oil, but with an added beautifying benefit. I believe all these items are carried in the Beauty Heroes shop, and the Beauty Heroes shop is also carrying the Gressa foundation now. As far as the brush, I'm almost positive these are synthetic bristles. It's vegan, cruelty-free, obviously, and it's like a flat, sort of angled, pointed shader brush or packing brush, like to pack pigment on. That's sort of what it's designed for. It has this really nice, long, like pretty substantially like weighty handle. So I think that was like a really beautiful inclusion. As far as the eye tints, Beauty Heroes decided to include the shades Oreo, which is described as a rich flaxen color. I personally think of it as a just barely warmer than neutral, like light golden champagne. It's almost like a warm champagne. And Obscure, they describe as a deep brown bronze. I think it's like a deep, cool, blackened brown. That's kind of how I would like an ashy brown. Really nice. Like this is obviously sort of an all over the lid, sort of brightening color. And then this is to line with or add drama, that sort of thing. And then Lumiere, they describe as light bronze tinted serum. Although, as many people have been pointing out on comments, the swatch of it makes it almost look like, I don't know, like it does sort of have like a deep plum gray undertone almost, but this is not really how it swatches. Now, I would like to share my thoughts on having used these products. Now, please keep in mind, I've only been testing these about a week and a half. I had been out of town, came home, had this stuff waiting for me. So I've been using these products on my eyes every day at work to go to work last week, like doing my makeup in the morning. I used this most days as well, the Lumiere. So please keep that in mind, that my review is more like a first impression, honestly, than like a true review or like longitudinal review, which this box will fall into next year's retrospective review. I'm getting ready to do my 2016-2017 retrospective review, which will go up in October, and that will include the previous two makeup boxes, the Vapor and the Au Naturel. My first impressions are very positive for the most part, but please keep in mind that, you know, that kind of thing can change over time. It's very individual to me. You should always take anything you hear online, any review anybody gives, with a tremendous grain of salt. Probably the biggest question that people have about these is, do they crease? Because they are billed as being crease proof. The short answer is that they crease a little bit on me, but sort of the closest comparator that people draw to these are like the RMS eye polishes. Now, do they crease anywhere to the extent that those do? Like, not even a little bit. Like, it's no contest. I can't wear the RMS eye polishes, and I think that there's a lot of people that fall in that camp that can't wear them either. The RMS eye polishes are just way too wet and emollient. I actually have had some of like the biggest eco makeup fails ever with the RMS eye polishes. Like, I have not used this to like pack on color like heavily, because that's just not my style of eye makeup. I actually have a feeling if I were to do that, I would get probably more creasing, because the more product you use, the more creasing you're going to get. I also have not tried these with an eye primer at all. I have sort of noticed my eyelids have become less oily over time. The joys of time marching on, I suppose. And if you follow me on social media, you will know I've been battling a little bit of eyelid eczema on one of my lids. So I have not been using any eye primer, and I've had very minimal creasing, and I will say the longevity of wearing these on my lids has been like really surpassed my expectations. The thing that they remind me the most of has been a shadow stick, like an eyeshadow stick. So for example, I think that Obscure, this darker color here, is really comparable to something like By Terry Brown Perfection. And I'm happy to report, I might include this in my anti-haul now, my next anti-haul. Having Obscure has pretty much completely obliterated the long-standing desire I had for one of the Burberry eyeshadow sticks. Primarily because Burberry is one of the only brands that I know of that makes eyeshadow sticks that are matte and not shimmery. I have Trish McEvoy eyeshadow sticks, and I have By Terry shadow sticks, and they're gorgeous, but they're very shimmery. So to have like a cream to powder sort of formula like this is in a matte is incredible. So this has been like the standout from the whole box for me. You'll see how I demoed it in the video. It is the makeup I'm wearing on my eyes right now. The main ways that I've been using it have been as a very sort of like light wash of color on the lid to just kind of give definition for a daytime look, with a little bit of black liner tight lined on the upper waterline. I really like this gently smudged on the lower lash line for during the day, or this is a little bit more of a dramatic look. I really like using this over top of winged liner to create more like a smoky wing. You could really like amp up the drama with this. This is like a very nice accent color. It's not really one I probably would have chosen for myself. I prefer things to the cooler side of like champagne neutral. But that said, what is so unique about this to me is that the shimmer in it is so refined. It almost gives like glow without being overtly shimmery the way I'm saying I feel like these other shadow sticks do. I find that these are both on my eyes at the end of the day. And, you know, for eco product or conventional eye makeup product, I find them to be just outstanding. The only deterrent from me ever buying these myself was the price, coupled with the fact that I would have been a little bit concerned about how long these last before drying out or going bad if they do. And the reason I say that is because I have had issues in the past with Gressa products going bad before I can get to them. And I'll save those thoughts for when I talk about the foundation and the lip boosts. But I actually did ask Jeannie her thoughts on kind of like how long each of these pots would last before the formula would go. And I want to ask any of you who maybe have used these or have them, if you found the formula to kind of stay good for a while, because that's kind of my only really big concern. Something else about the color Obscure is that you could ostensibly use this one as a contour shade as well. Some people were sort of mentioning that on Instagram. I'm still sort of playing around with that. I did try it once and I'm not convinced that it works on me per se. I think I might be it might be a little bit too dark. I'm gonna keep playing around because if that is the case, if I could get this to work as sort of like a face structure contour color, that would be just like such a bonus, wouldn't it? I so appreciate that Obscure is a cool toned brown. If any of you are like me and you have sort of an aversion to overly warm makeup. I do like brown eye makeup though, because I think it can be a little bit more dimensional than just wearing black all the time. It can be a little softer. It can be, I don't know, a little bit more like sultry in a way sometimes. You just kind of want to mix it up. Nearly all eye makeup products, from eyeshadows to eyeliners in browns, tend to be warm. To find a cool toned brown is actually quite difficult. The fact that this is truly a cool toned brown, like, you had me at hello, for sure. Now let's talk a little bit about Lumiere, which I kind of cannot fully get my head around this product yet, so I'm a little bit undecided on it. When I first used this, I was going to use it as sort of like a cheek color. Now I made sure to shake it up really well to make sure the pigments were distributed. I just kind of took a little bit off my hand and applied it to my cheeks the way you would like a cream cheek color. Okay, first thought, it doesn't impart a lot of color to the face, at least to me on my skin tone. I just didn't really feel like it gave me much color payoff at all. And beyond that, it's essentially like putting an oil on your face. Putting that oily of a product formula over top of your base that's already done, like whatever you do for foundation or sunscreen, is A, strange, and B, it just, I find, and you'll see in the demo, it gives a very wet look to the skin, which, you know, I guess is great in sort of an editorial sense, but in sort of like an everyday sense, I haven't found it to be like my favorite. So what I've been doing, again, as you'll see in the demo, is I'll use like a small amount of it on my cheeks and then set that in place with a very finely milled highlighting powder to kind of take down some of that intense wetness, and then I'd have a little bit of extra highlight on too, because I was like, if we're gonna be glowy, like let's just go for it. So that is what's on my face right now. I'm wearing like 3 or 4 different products. They say you can also use this on the eyes and the lips, and I just have not had time to do that yet. I kind of have a hard time imagining this on my eyes, although because my eyelids have been a little bit drier lately, it's been honestly the season transition from summer to fall that has led me to have like a little bit of flaky skin on my eye. Really just one eyelid, but that's very strange for me. I don't really know what's going on. Am I just getting older? What is happening? And I haven't tried it on the lips yet. Honestly, it doesn't seem pigmented enough to really give any color payoff. In that sense, it would remind me of something like, do you guys remember when those YSL lip treatment oils were like very popular on YouTube? That's kind of, I guess, what this would remind me of. And then the other way, given the sort of texture and formulation of this, the thing it reminded me of, given also that it sort of has these like bronzy, but also like weird plum undertones. It's very unusual. It does kind of have a rosemary. I smell a little bit of rosemary in it. I couldn't place it before. It reminds me of something maybe like a Dr. Hauschka translucent bronzing complex. If any of you know that product, it's basically like a sheer tinted fluid that you can either apply to your face, like basically before you do your foundation, or you mix it into your foundation. So it's kind of like a mixing medium into liquid foundation, or I guess you could pump this into like your sunscreen. If you're very dry skin type, I think you'll actually probably really like this. It gives a very like quenched look to the face. Like that's the best way I can describe it. Given that we are transitioning into colder seasons, I do think that this, you know, stands to be a very interesting product. I'm hedging on it a little bit just because I don't think I've been using it long enough to say like, oh, I really, really like it. Whereas for me, Obscure has been like an immediate hit. I'm not entirely sold on this yet, and I just need more time with it. I think it has potential, and I would be very curious to hear how you are using this. Okay, before I get to your questions on Instagram, I'll quickly tell you about my experience with the lip boosts and the foundation. I've tried 2 of the lip boosts. They come in a bunch of colors now. Gressa has expanded quite a bit since when I first started using the products like 3 or 4 years ago. I think those lip boosts, there's like 10 plus colors of them now. I had the color Bear, and I had a red, like a bright red color that I don't remember the name of. I really, really loved Bear. In fact, I actually liked it more as a cheek color, like a cream cheek color, than a lip product. I found it a little bit too dry for the lips, but as a cream cheek color, the color Bear was like a perfect, like neutral, pinky flush on me. The only issue was that after, I would say a year or a year and a half, the pot did dry out. They come in these same size pots. Kind of a bummer. And then as I was like in my first iteration of filming this video, I was kind of like complaining about that. But then as I sort of came around to being like, well, a year and a half is a pretty substantial amount of time. As consumers, we do want to have it like always. Like we want this very cleanly formulated, high performing product, and we want it to be good like indefinitely, and I just don't think that that's necessarily realistic. I think it's like as consumers we also want to have like smaller sizes of stuff available to us so that we can get through them, but again, I think that's not always viable from a production standpoint, and I respect, you know, that the brands are juggling a lot. So for me then, the take-home point is to have like a very minimal beauty and skincare collection so that you can actually use things up to completion. It's just another sort of point that buttresses the use less, love more theme of Beauty Heroes. Now, as far as the foundation, I actually have some old Get Ready With Me videos using that foundation. I had been testing and using that product within the first like 2 or 3 months that it had been released. So it's been on the market now for a number of years. And in that time, I think she's doubled or more the shade range. So there didn't used to be the halves. It used to just be like 1, 2, 3, 4 or something. In the end, and I'm not sure if the formula has changed, but when I was using it, it was like I liked it initially, and then over time I just found it to be, for my personal preference with foundation, it was a little bit too makeup-y. It was a little heavy. It would look a little cakey. Even with a beauty blender, it was not kind to dry patches or any kind of errant texture on your face. I think the people that really like the Gressa foundation are people that like a more medium to fuller coverage on their face. It's kind of like a demi-matte satin finish. It's not really a glowy, dewy finish. I think you could probably, I mean, for example, if you were to mix something of the Lumiere, something like this Lumiere in with the Minimalist Corrective Serum Foundation, maybe that would give like a dewier finish. But the foundation alone just wasn't my personal favorite. Beyond that, I had bought a full-size bottle. It is very expensive. I think it's like $65. Gressa is one of these brands too, like they have raised their prices over the years, and they haven't really, like, at least that I'm aware of, I don't think that they've addressed it like to consumers the way like other brands will do. Maybe they have and I just like missed it, because guys, like, I just don't really pay attention to what's going on in the beauty space anymore. I just kind of like try my stuff and do my thing. But yeah, like I feel like the prices have like steadily crept up with Gressa without really explanations for like why. And I mean, I think $65 or whatever it is, it's between $60 or $65 for that foundation is a lot. Like that's a really expensive product, you know? And I had bought a full-size bottle. I think it was in the 50s when I bought it, 50 something, 55 maybe. And after about 5 months of use, the product separated. The pigment basically separated from whatever carrier oil or like base formula was in it. I couldn't shake it back together to re-emulsify it. And so I basically like couldn't use the product. I did email Gressa and they ended up sending me like a smaller size replacement, which I used for a while and then just decided ultimately I didn't really enjoy the formula for me personally. You know, 1.5 years of the lip boost I can understand, but 5 months of a $65 foundation I can't understand. So I don't know if they've rectified that situation. I don't know. This was also like a year or two ago. So it's been a while since I've had that experience. I did also try a sample of her highlighting fluid. It's called like the illuminating fluid, and it was gorgeous. It was so pretty. It was almost like an iridescent lilac, very unique. It looked like unicorn moonbeams on the face. It was so pretty. The only reason I never bought it is because I was afraid I was gonna have the same issue with the pigment separating from like the oil content in the product. And it's similarly expensive, and I was just like, I don't really want to risk it. Those are kind of my thoughts on the brand generally. Let me quickly see if there's anything in your questions on Instagram that I haven't yet touched on. Literally, someone just left a comment 7 minutes ago and said, OMG, I need to order this box ASAP. Yeah, you do. I thought from the photo on the Beauty Hero site that the dark brown was in fact purple. I'm more intrigued now and look forward to hearing more. So yeah, I don't think the swatches here or on Gressa's website are very accurate, to be honest. This is supposed to be the swatch for Lumiere, and I do not think that that's accurate at all. And I even feel like on the Gressa website, the swatch for Obscure makes it look like it has a purple tinge, and it doesn't at all. Okay, would love to know if in your experience this eyeshadow creases minimally. I've never used this brand, but cream eyeshadows always crease on my lids even with a primer. So this is the problem with like filming multiple versions of the same video. I'm not sure if I already said this or not, but I do think to some extent, like, if you have hooded eyes or you have an eye shape that is prone to creasing and or your skin chemistry, body chemistry is more oily around the eyes, like you're going to have creasing. I don't care if any product claims to be crease proof, you're probably going to get some creasing. So I have like sort of hooded eyes, I think. And honestly, the way that I deal with eye makeup generally, you develop techniques that minimize creasing. And beyond that, if things crease a little bit, I'm fine with patting out the little bit of creasing. So the more product you apply, the worse the creasing is going to be because there's more product to crease in. So that's why I opt for like a lighter wash of something like Oreo. I've had no issues with Obscure smudging, like as a winged liner or as a lower lash line smudge. It really does stay in place and I don't find it to be transferring or smudging at all. Okay, someone asked, the text regarding the Lumiere tint says it can be used on the lips. So I definitely would like to see that application if possible. I'm sorry, if I have time, I'll try and film a clip of me doing that and insert it in the video. But if I don't, maybe I'll try and do it on Instagram stories or something. Also, do you find that you can use the Obscure tint as a winged liner? If so, would you worry about the wing smudging? So I haven't used it solely as like a winged liner. I've only used it to kind of smudge in already applied liquid liner, and I really like it for that. I don't find that it's really been smudging that way. I find that it's been wearing really well, as you can see in the demo and such. These are mostly just comments, not questions. Are you planning a get ready with me based on this look? I did the demo, so I hope you'll check it out. Someone said, I have medium olive toned complexion and there are definitely colors that I don't like to wear. Will you mention how you think these would look on various skin tones? I think that they're as sort of like neutral as makeup could get. Like, obviously, Beauty Heroes is curating this box in a way that's going to be most appealing to the widest range of people. So it's neither too warm nor too cool in my opinion. I do think that that Obscure is a nice cool toned brown, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna make anybody look bruised. I think that it has enough black in it that it's enough of a neutral. I personally would have preferred something to the cooler side of neutral, whereas this is slightly to the warmer side of neutral, but I don't have any issues using it, you know, and I'm someone that doesn't wear a lot of warm eye makeup. Okay, the last question. I'm most curious about the Lumiere. It looks very sheer. Does it add much color, and how is the wear time? It is very sheer, as you heard. I don't think it imparts a lot of color. As far as the wear time, I mean, I'm layering so many other products on my face when I've been using this that it seems to wear fine. I mean, I think because I'm locking it in place with like a setting powder, it's fine, but like I'm saying, I don't really feel like it's adding much color to my skin, so I'm just not sure. I'm starting to like ramble because I'm getting like tired and I'm starting to like be very redundant and lose my thoughts. Okay, so I think that that's all I have in me. I hope that you found this review helpful, and I hope that it was still helpful even, you know, a week after the box has been released. Please let me know in the comments if you're planning to pick up this box or if you've already received it and are enjoying it. I would love to hear. Please check out my demo if you'd like to see these products in action, and I am going to be filming some additional looks for my patrons on Patreon. So if you aren't already over there, please come join. I've been hustling to put up just like fun behind the scenes extra content up there. Like I have a 6-minute Whole Foods shop, like a Whole Foods haul video that I'm gonna put up later this week for all patrons. I repost my weekly Instagram stories on there. And yeah, just lots of fun things. So I would love if you would consider coming over to Patreon and supporting this channel's growth and development. That's all for me. I'm literally like so tired. I can't see straight, and I hope that this was coherent. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video soon. Bye.